Hi, Kristen. Hi, everyone.
Good morning,
Um,
John.
this is part of our series where we're exploring leadership questions. And one of the roles at the Portland Shambhala Center is the role of Desung. And Kristen recently stepped into the role, so it seemed appropriate to kind of talk about that. And it was actually inspired by a very kind of wonderful short intro that you gave at the center on Harvest of Peace, which was kind of just very touching and very inspiring. And by way of introduction, I also have to say that Kristen and I both lived at Marpa House in Boulder, Colorado at the same time many years ago. When her mom lived there, and then you lived there for a while, and then Nancy, my wife, lived there, and we moved out, and we all then ended up back in Boulder. I mean, we ended up in Portland. So, Kristen, what do you see as the role of Desung? What is it?
Well, it parallels a lot of what I do as a spiritual provider at the hospital that I work at. And the main thing being that as we're holding our seat and helping other people, we're navigating an emotional world. And in that, we're trying to find, as they approach us with maybe issues or struggles or questions, as a Desung, I am looking for what is it that they really need and how can I help them get that? What is it that they're most fearful of, and how can I help them to verbalize it, bring it out to the forefront, and bring some clarity to it, so that then as a Desung, I can help them get what they need in that struggle, and how our center can provide for them, how it might have resources for other things that would be helpful for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Right.
So that's interesting, because the way I've heard the role described, it kind of like it's more of an analytical, Day is bliss and Sung is protector. Mm-hmm. And it's always puzzled me, well, what is the bliss, and then what does protection mean? Mm-hmm. And it's striking that what you're saying is that protection means cultivating awareness.
Mm-hmm. Well,
or bringing things out somehow, kind of making things possible to speak about or understand.
So I think people are going to approach a Desung because something's happening. Now, they might approach because they're in bliss and they want to share it, but most likely it's because something's happening and there's a request for attention. Mm-hmm. So I'm really sitting with them, resonating, and making my personal assessment, so to speak, of how I can help this person. Mm-hmm. And through that, it's for them to discover their own bliss and their path in that. Mm-hmm. So that's how I protect bliss. It has to be brought out. And that's going to be brought out at the same time that there's an issue. So to recognize both is the job. As a Desung, that's what I see.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's interesting to me that you also have a role in the region. And I'm wondering how that regional role what your experience has been and how that has kind of fed into what you're offering here in Portland.
I think that role came about because of some transition that was happening in the first place. And because my experience as a chaplain in the hospital, and also because I have this project in mind that I would like to have clinical pastoral education provided for in our community at a land center. And that dream that I have shared with many and some of the other leaders of Desung has become an aspiration, and that was how I became a regional officer of the Desung. And yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we have a few more seconds here, and I'm always thinking about the next generation, and I'm wondering what would you say by invitation to someone who might become a Desung in the future?
Well, as a Desung in this community, our heart really has to be holding our seat as a leader. And that comes through aspiration and practice and wanting to work with people. Mm-hmm. Wanting to see the issues along with their bliss, along with how we can help them to get what they want and what they need.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Is there anything more that you'd like to say?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so right now. I think, if I were, and I'll get my words more together about clinical pastoral education and how I think there's a place for that in our community, especially as we're going through all of this stuff. Because service in the community, not just ours, but for other people, is where we're going to learn more how to help ourselves, how to grow our community, how and how to help the rest of the world, which is where we're going.
Yeah. Exciting. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay.